my wife and I were on a date in Uptown, and we saw all of these people who were really young and young families, all that kind of stuff. And we just realized there's not that many churches that are healthy, that have the gospel at the center, that are reaching out to these people. We began praying that God would allow us to plant a church in Uptown Charlotte. And the next week, my pastor at the time, he called me into his office and he said, hey, there's this church in Uptown. They're going to decline and die if something drastic doesn't happen. And he said, it's called Plaza Baptist Church in Noda. I want to know if you would be interested in becoming the senior pastor. And so I said, well, I got to think and pray about it. Talk to my wife. We saw that as an answer to prayer. We couldn't say no. So we were going to come and cast a new vision, that this would be a relaunched, a rebuilt church. It went amazing. I mean, everybody at the church voted unanimously for it to happen. This was just one of those stories where God was stirring in my heart and our hearts, but then also in the hearts of those here at Plaza who've been here for a long time, that they wanted to see people come to know Christ and grow in their walk with Him and have Plaza make an impact in the community. So we wanted to replant this church, and we knew we needed a team of people. And so we had an interest meeting, and God brought 32 people to be part of our launch team. And in August 1st, we relaunched it with the book of Nehemiah and just tried to cast a renewed vision for what it could look like. As a church, we had to acknowledge that there was brokenness, but there's also brokenness in the community of Noda and in Plaza Midwood and in Uptown Charlotte. There's just spiritual brokenness. And so we just wanted to be a church that was rebuilt and could be sent out into this community. Noda is interesting. It's unlike any area I've ever been in. It's not as much as we don't think God exists. For them, it's more of a Christians seem like hypocrites. And so that presents a unique barrier to the gospel. We want to be a people who share and show the gospel. That's where people begin to see the life-changing power of the gospel, where it's not just a message, but it's become the method by which we live our lives. The community has noticed that something's happening here at Plaza. The answer is resurrection. A relaunched, rebuilt, replanted church is a literal picture of the resurrection. That God took something that was once dead, and now there's life coming out of it. Like God's up to something, that God has preserved this church for something like this, where this building was founded in 1967. And there were times when they believed that this church would fold and go under, and God just preserved them. God wanted to reach this community. God's heart has remained the same, that He wants to seek and to save the lost. We don't manufacture ministry. We just try to follow a God who's already on mission, who loves people here in Noda and loves people here in Plaza Shamrock. And so to see how God has preserved this church and is now using this church to reach the people in this community is really cool to be part of.